recognize me without a sport coat and a tie and stuff. But today's a work day. And I asked Dick a couple days ago, since my head was so OCD with flooring, if he could do the talk today, because I couldn't concentrate on anything except flooring. He said, sure. So that was a gift. And then he called, he gave me the order of service last night, the title to his talk, and it says, what does it say there? Gifts, not of our choosing. Well, I just saw the first word, and I just went, bingo, we have received gifts, amazing gifts. Dick stepped in at the last minute to do the talk. Wayne was here for ringing the bell on Friday, and he fell down and cracked a rib, and he doesn't feel like being here. So he's given us a gift. But the real gift, we have a brand new floor in the hall. It's amazing. And the people that helped do that, yesterday morning, half a dozen guys that wish to be anonymous. I can't tell you they're with the 12-step groups, but they want to be anonymous. They're serving their community, especially Church of the Oak community, they said, because we've had 12 steps for so many years. But they did, you can't imagine how much work it takes to put down 1,600 square feet of flooring. It's little, narrow kind of flooring. And we got to trim it out today. That's it. It's just amazing. So I am filled with appreciation, with joy, and acceptance that we're all happy to give, but to accept a gift, that's really, it's amazing that people, out of the goodness of their heart, out of the consciousness of giving and serving, could do that kind of work for us. I'm just really something. We've been waiting on this floor for 24 years that I know of. So may we all just think about the gifts that we give and the gifts that we receive. Sometimes they look a little weird. Sometimes they feel a little weird. But may we give thanks. And so it is.
I couldn't find my notebook this week, so I wrote it on my phone. On being an introvert, or what I've learned from Church of the Oaks. I am an introvert. I tell people that all the time. For the most part, it's totally true. I like being by myself. I don't like crowds. I don't like noise. I like peace and quiet. I can be alone for days on end with no one but Penne to talk to. That's my dog. The things I most enjoy doing are things done by oneself. The first time I came to Church of the Oaks, I liked what I heard, except for the part where you get up and greet each other and hug and stuff like that. My first reaction was, oh no, too many people. As I kept coming to church, the meet and greet got easier and easier. I got to know several people, and I even went to the after-church social hour in the hall. Not only did I go, I actually talked to people. The first time Kendra came to church with me, she was astounded by how much I interacted with people. In the social hall afterward, I remember carrying on a long conversation with David. Kendra's eyes practically popped out of her head. Not only was I carrying on a conversation, I was doing it with a man. Not something that is not that common for me. Kendra will talk to anyone. I started thinking about this mini message last Sunday. It really struck me that we had a couple of new folks, and during the meet and greet, I made it a point to go over and shake their hands and tell them how glad I was that they had come. I am not the same person I was when I first came to Church of the Oaks. Wait a minute, I lost my place. I am not the same person I was when I first came to Church of the Oaks. For the most part, I'm much happier. Coming to church makes me happy. I look forward to interacting with the folks at church rather than dreading it. 3 years ago, I would never have spoken that phrase. And then there was the day that I actually asked Patrick if I could give a mini message. Again, Kendra's eyes nearly popped out of her head when she heard that. I think that I get much more out of writing and sharing a mini message than the folks I share it with. There are times when I reach deep inside to find a mini message, and there are times when not so much. But every time, I get some eye-opening revelation from the whole process. All of you have been part of that process. For me, finding a voice that is not just in my head. So thank you.
Oh, Kathryn, yeah. Kathryn, you know what? I don't think there's a single person sitting in here that's come for a while that's the same person. I just think, and talking about, I don't think you're an introvert anymore. An introvert is really one of those persons who misses the old original COVID quarantine days. That's the introvert. Well, good morning, everyone. I see some new faces. Please enjoy this unconditional welcome we have here at Church of the Oaks. We're all family, and you're part of it. So just be yourself and be comfortable. I have a lot of messages today, a lot of announcements. Monday night, spiritual healing is going to be tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. right here. Yes. Okay. Thursday group, what, a week from Thursday? So another week from Thursday.
What is the Thursday group?
Thursday is the ladies spiritual book study. Oh, I got that. I did that all right, didn't I? Okay. It's been a week. I'd like to, I'm going to talk about some more things in a little bit. I'm going to talk about some things now. We're gonna, after church is over, we're going to need a few minutes to get a little bang bang gun going, and then there's a whole trailer full of tables and chairs that have to come back in the church, or I can't go home. It's just, so if anybody could help bring them back, we want to get a little bit of baseboard down to where the tables and chairs normally go first. So if you could hang for about 20 minutes, then we could start bringing them in. That would be great. There was something, I don't know who this belongs to, but there's a coffee pot, a super coffee pot. It's an amazing thing. Is this yours?
I think it's
It's Joy's? Okay, we can't have it anymore. What happens, it pulls a lot of current. If you plug it in with anything else on the same circuit, 3 times in the last 2 weeks, I've come in and the refrigerator is off and the coffee pot's off, because it's left out and people use it and don't know where. And the thing is, the bothering thing, there's 2 plugs you can plug it into. A couple people know what those are, but the groups are using it. But the wiring upstairs in the attic is 100 years old. And it's the old split wiring, 2 wires, it's called, I don't know what, pegging something. Anyway, that insulation on that wire is fine, but the insulation is kind of like old paper and cloth and rubber. And when it gets hot, after this age, it melts. And it can catch fire. It can also, that hot stuff can fall down into 120 years of dust. And you can have an explosion, you can have fire. It's just, we just can't have things that take this much current. I just think that we should not. So our coffee pot's been fine. It's the same one that was here 25 years ago when I showed up, and it's never popped the breaker on its own. It's always had a crock pot or something like this. So we need to return this to whoever it's here. I don't want to do it, but we just, for safety, we just can't have that kind of, everybody gets that, right? okay, we're gonna do stuff in the hall afterwards if you can. Ron told me this morning that Barbara Colohan was taken to ICU. They've transferred to San Francisco. Things are really hard for our dear lady. And if we could just take a few minutes now and give her strength and courage and light. She feels our prayers. She feels our energy. So please, let's just, if you want to reach out and grab the hand next to you. Let's build all the love and light and courage that we can send Barbara's way. This is what family does, and so it is. Now, let's sing a song here. I love myself the way I am. Oh, yes.
I just want to announce that it will be in the bulletin once I let Wayne know, and Kathryn knows, but there's going to be a remembrance service for Maureen Manso on Saturday, October 5th at 2 o'clock. But you'll get a notice of it. For any of you who knew him, you might want to come.
Okay, yes, and I forgot to mention that that's on October 5th. On the 28th of September, a really cool band called Take Your Medicine is playing over at the Cabaret next door from 5 to 7. And there'll be more announcements. Board meeting next Sunday, the 15th. Did I leave anything out? I always leave stuff out. If not, then let's all stand up and sing I Love Myself the Way I Am, and number 17 in the songbook. Comes the part that Kathryn was talking about, that huggy thing and talking to people. We welcome each other in our traditional Church of the Oaks fashion.
I'm not hugging anyone.
Don't hug anybody. Don't hug Wayne.
Don't hug Wayne.
Just even be careful fist bumping.
I have broken ribs.
This is the third time in the last 3 years, 5 years.
Divine healing.
I'm there, I just went down there, and that takes me the rest of the way. Oh. Yeah, I didn't see you.
Whatever it was, I'm sorry I missed it. He looked.
The next thing on the menu says celebrating our abundance. How can we not? We have each other. We're part of a community. Our whole little community of Meitatiion is just amazing. We have each other. We have this place, antique place. It's ours. And sometimes I just can't get over how much we have at our disposal that's just right here for each other, for all of us, all the time. Let's read together our affirmation of abundance, may we? The joy we experience when we share our time, talent, thought, and treasure is a sacred gift from Spirit. May we ponder that wisdom, sir. Well, OCD struck again last night. I just got confused thinking about floors and stuff, and I forgot Natalie Dole is doing the meditation or the practice today, and I wrote down, Kelly, Natalie, will you lead us in the practice, please?
Are we going to sing?
Oh, yes. That'd be good, too. We should probably sing first, only believe. Excuse me, I'll be better next week.
Good morning, everyone. So today's practice is a meditation that you can find in many traditions called the Cave of the Heart meditation. You can find Ram Dass leading it on YouTube. You can find New Age teachers leading it on Meditation Timer app, and I'm just going to lead it in my own way today. And this meditation, this practice, is really about accessing the stillness that we all carry deep within. So we're just going to begin by taking some smooth, deep breaths together. As you do so, try to focus your awareness on where the breath is coming in your nose and going out. As it comes in your nostrils, you may notice a coolness there. As it goes out, you may feel heat. Just use these breaths to begin to settle your mind. Just bringing it to focus only on the breath. We're going to continue this slow, deep inhale and exhale together. And as we do, we're going to bring our attention from the nose to what I call the high spiritual heart. Just to say, not your physical heart, but a space just about where your collarbones meet. A space that many traditions say is where your soul resides within your body. You can bring your hand to that area and just tap it as a way to, again, focus your attention there. Begin to experience that stillness. Feel the space of that heart begin to expand as if you're standing in a cave that represents this energy. It might show up as pink or gold or white, even red, but these colors should feel nurturing to you. They should bring you to a place of stillness. With each breath, let the stillness become deeper. Let it permeate your entire body, every layer of your mind and energy field. In stillness can be found the source of all creation. So as we rest in this place together, allow to rise to the surface of your mind something that you want to create in your life, an experience, a quality that maybe you didn't even realize until this moment feels missing. Place that intention in that cave of your heart now. Seal it now with golden light, wrapped many times around that space, protecting it with the light that you are. Know now that you can let that intention go, that it is done and already on its way to you. In this congregation, may our hearts beat as one. So it is.
Thank you, Wayne. Well, Pat mentioned, I think it was 2 days ago, maybe?
Yeah.
I stopped by his house and he was all ready to go for the flooring, and I was going to do the mini message today, and I said, why don't I just do the whole thing? So I have put some thoughts together, and the thing that came to my mind was gifts not of our choosing. And I would like to just begin with life as we know and understand it is not static. It's always in motion. Changing course, changing speed, like a stream or a river. If it's blocked or dammed, it will eventually find a way to break free. Spirit, creation, and I really associate spirit and creation as one, is in constant motion, and for most of us, this evolutionary current is pretty scary. I often think of the saying that God makes straight paths with crooked lines. I used to think the spiritual journey, and it wasn't that long ago, was linear. That it was just a series of progression, of steps of learning, of understanding, and I would just keep reaching a higher and higher level. I've thrown that idea out. It served me well for a period of time, but now I've come to understand this whole progression as what I call loopy. For every step forward, we usually take 2 or 3 steps back. You know, it's pretty scary on the ledge. And our reflexes are often to take a few steps back and really think about what we're doing, what we're thinking, what we're contemplating saying. And you know, there seems to be a lot of backward stepping in our world today. I just want to illustrate with this this handout that I received, I think it was last week, August 25th. Was that last week? No, 2 weeks ago. At our member meeting. It was right after church, and I received one of these. And this was a list of ideas that we could do as a congregation to be more focused outward. Pat has been inspiring us in different ways to have a focus, to outward focus, people in the community, what we can do. And I have to say, my first reaction every time I get one of these is to take a few steps backwards. You're pushing me on the ledge, and I don't know if I'm comfortable being there. And it's a natural reaction. It's a natural reaction to many things that we focus on and we're looking to at life. But there's another scary thought that I'd just like to pose to you, and I'm sure to many of you this is not a new thought. But we are heirs of a long evolution of spirit. And I just want you to think about that. That we're not just an isolated being who just happened to be here on this planet, on this day, in this minute, in this place, it's way more than that. We share something from everyone that has gone before us, and we contribute to everyone that is going ahead of us. The remarkable and scary realization is that everything that has ever happened in the history of the human universe is a prelude to each of our lives. And this is pretty revolutionary in our culture, in our day. In the past 300 to 400 years, I would say that Western intellectual tradition, if you want to call it that, has encouraged us to see the world as a collection of individual things, separate from each other. And today we celebrate our spirit of individualism, competition, achievement, and more often than not, that all comes with a high cost. Much of human history has been the history of smaller groups, beginning to see common interests, and ties to larger groups, maybe first as clans, then as tribes, and then as people, and then finally as nations. I personally am beginning to see a little more clearly, beginning to grab this huge basket as best I can, that we are on the verge of another stage of human history. Many people have posed the idea that we go through societal change in many ways about every 500 years. And quite possibly, and I believe we are on the verge of another change. And that change requires the next step of consciousness, really to begin to see ourselves not as nations, but as one. And I know that many of you here today would already agree with that we are deeply connected in sharing this planet that we live on. We've all heard many times, and I know I have, that if we just didn't have so many people, we could sure have more. And that just goes right in the face of what we're saying here, is that in reality, it doesn't matter if there's 8 billion people on the planet. They say that the saturation point is 12 before, I don't know what's going to happen then. But the reality is that no matter how many people are on this planet, if we shift this consciousness, there's going to be enough for everybody, no matter how many people there are. Each of us is the latest unfolding of this event of creation that's moving this consciousness forward. I know that we can get caught up with things are never going to change. How long is this going to last? We can be either optimistic or pessimistic, and maybe there's just a healthy tension between those two sides of the coin. My wife and I are no different than any other couple who has raised a family. We learned from our parents and took what we thought was the good and the bad, and we thought what was good and did our best to improve on the bad. Our girls are all accomplished mothers and accomplished in the endeavors and the careers that they have and they've taken on. But looking back, as a couple, we would say that there are a lot of things that we really feel that we could have done a whole lot better. We pass on to our offspring what was passed on to you from your parents. There was the good, there was the bad, and there was the ugly. And we have really no control over that. Each stage in turn makes further development possible. I know that each one of our daughters are doing the same thing that we did. They're taking the good, and they're doing their best to correct the bad, and all the ugly things that they remember, despite everything that we gave them. And they will pass that on to their kids, and on it will go. It's sobering to think that in 75 years, most of us, not all, but most of us will be totally forgotten. 3 generations. At best, we will be someone in a picture viewed by strangers. Even now, my grandsons see a picture of my grandfather. He's just a face in a picture. I can do my best to tell them about him, but really he's just a stranger, and to them, he is a non-entity. So unless we've done something heroic or disastrous to be remembered in perpetuity, 75 years and we will be forgotten. Yet the current of creation keeps moving forward. I think of this, or think of life generations, picture this as a mad scramble. And this is the best way that I can illustrate this to you. For many years I worked with youth. And this was a game that we used to play when we had a large youth event. It was usually either in a gymnasium outside, but just picture about 100 kids. And you have 10 groups of 10. And they're inside this gymnasium and they're lined up, and at the other end of the gym there are 10 objects all in a pile. And the object of the game, to win the game, is that each team sends one person down first, and that person runs down to the end of the gym. They pick up whatever item they choose in the pile and bring it back. And they hand that item to the next person in line, and that person then takes that item, runs down to the end of the gym, picks up another item, and brings it back. Now, usually if these kids are smart and thinking, they're choosing the easiest, lightest items in the pile to bring first. But there can be buckets and mops and all kinds of big clunky things, large pieces of rope in this pile. So it is the team that the last person carrying all 10 items gets back over the line, wins first. You know, we're carrying a lot of things that have been passed on to us. Everything that has gone ahead is part of it, and a lot of this is that things that we are carrying consciously and unconsciously. Remember that you and I are the latest version of this mad scramble of humanity. Religion, as we are all somewhat aware of, has played a part to try to create ways to hang on to all of this. But more often than not, it tends to be a process of selectivity that helps us to select really what are the best things that we should be carrying and the rest that we let go of. I have to say that the greatest influence in my life were 2 people. Now, there's been many people that have inspired me in different ways, helped me be better, encouraged me. The list is long. But the 2 major influences in my life are my grandfather and my father. And despite their shortcomings, you know, I have to say cream does eventually rise to the top. Sometimes the cream takes a long time to rise. And what I mean by that is that it took me years, decades, to see and appreciate a lot of the cream that my father gave me in my life. It took a lot of me carrying all that stuff that he consciously or unconsciously passed on to me, and what was given to him that he was totally unaware of, that shaped his life. It took time for me to make mistakes in my own life and truly reflect on myself and to say, you know, I really had a different understanding of what he must have gone through, what he probably felt, and why he did some of the things that he did. But despite it all, both he and his father truly, truly were a huge influence in my life. Being a retired minister, I still enjoy officiating weddings. Weddings are a very optimistic affair. 2 people of different backgrounds, different likes, dislikes, personalities, opinions, I mean, what could possibly go wrong? But I often tell couples something. I try every ceremony to tell them a version of this, but it essentially goes like this. Passion peaks among the young, but marriage is a thing that peaks in old age. That it takes a daily commitment to the love and values that they shared in that ceremony and that they've shared to each other to learn what it means to be married. Early in life, like in a marriage, we have an outside-in focus. And most of these couples are no different. And that focus is basically a me focus. What can I see? What can I acquire that will make me feel better on the inside? But life does its work on us. And I would say that many, if not all of us here, are coming to a different focus. A focus of a focus on an outside-in focus. That we are focusing more on a they. Inside-out focus. That my inner self, myself is looking more outward to those around me. That it's a they, and not a me. Remember the member meeting flyer that I held up. I remember that day. Pat was really trying, and I don't remember the details of the message, but it really was focused on the change of looking outward and making steps to do something. And if we don't take that step, nothing will ever happen. And I know that we understand that more and more. That it's not about us, it's about those around us that are so significantly and it's so important. Making things happen. It's not about making things happen. And when I look at this list, and probably like you, if you looked at all these things, and I'm not going to read them, if I had to make any one of these things happen, I'd give up before I started. I think that we are past that point, many of us, if not all, knowing that I just can't go make something happen. But if I let something happen through me, it's amazing that it already happened before I realized it, but something transpired, something took place. I still go back to the pancake breakfast. I know it's an annual event, but it was my first opportunity. Flipping pancakes with Ron. And it was just one of those amazing moments that this group of people here put on a simple event for the community. I mean, what's so hard in setting up tables and chairs and making pancakes and putting some plates on the table? And just that simple act of community service, the change that it made in everyone there, whether they were participating or making it happen. Just by simply letting it happen. The significance in a ceremony, getting back to a marriage ceremony, and this is getting more to the point of closing what I'm trying to say here today, but that the significant part of a ceremony oftentimes is focused on the giving of rings. And what I tell these young couples, that as significant as their rings are, and all that they mean to them, they are only symbolic. They're only symbolic of what they're bringing to each other. But the true gift that they're bringing is not the ring. A wise man once said, couples have two choices, to be right or to be happy. Simple but true. Before the vows, I read before they give their vows and present their rings, I have a little thing that I do. I read them the things that they shared about each other. A little survey thing that I do with every couple that I do a ceremony with. And part of that survey is as they write different things about themselves and their relationship. And I take key thoughts from that, and I read what they've shared about each other and impress upon them that as they listen to the words from each other on how and why, and these are the how and the why, what they have come to mean to each other. And I tell them that these are the true gifts that you are bringing to this moment. It's not the ring. It's you. It's what you have come to mean to each other that is a true gift. And these gifts are not of your choosing. They are simply a reflection of who you are and what you have come to mean to each other at this moment, and you will carry this into your relationship into the future. So much of what we give in gifts is not of our choosing. The good, the bad, and the ugly are things that we just pass on at various times in our life. Our physical bodies will someday leave us, but we will still leave a mark. And that mark is really the love that we have expressed or tried to express. I know that not everyone on this planet have great memories from parents or family. And for some of us, it's much more of a struggle. And for them and for those of us in that situation, oftentimes it is by others who are showing us a kindness that maybe we didn't deserve or couldn't see coming. But everyone, regardless of our situation, plays a significant role in moving this awareness into the future. I would like to close with an excerpt from a novel. The novel is Captain Corelli's Mandolin. I think they made it into a movie some time ago. And this is just an excerpt from that novel. But it speaks about love. And I sometimes share this with wedding couples as well, but it goes beyond a couple. It really touches all of us. And as we are going through this journey of life. But it goes like this. Love is a temporary madness. It erupts like volcanoes and then subsides. And when it subsides, you have to make a decision. You have to work out whether your root is so entwined together that it's inconceivable that you should ever part. Because that is what love is. Love is not breathlessness. It is not excitement. It is not the promulgation of promises of eternal passion. That is just being in love, which any fool can do. And this is a key thought here. Love itself is what is left over when being in love has burned away. And this is both an art and a fortunate accident. Those that truly love have roots that grow towards each other underground. And when all the pretty blossoms have fallen from their branches, they find that they are that they are one tree and not two. There is a lot in our life, in my life, that burns away, that doesn't last. And that there is something that's left over when all of that passes. I did my father's memorial service when he passed away, and I can't remember everything that I said about him in that service, or that opportunity that I had to share some thoughts about him. But one thing I do remember, despite all of his flaws, all of his shortcomings, He went through some health issues, as we all do. He lost his eyesight due to glaucoma. He wasn't totally blind, but he gave up his driver's license way sooner than most people would, just because he didn't want to be a hazard on the road. And slowly, as life does, his ability to function slowly deteriorated. And through all of that, he showed us, his family, his friends, the way. And I can only say that to you, and I can say that to me and to all of us, is that how we handle life, how we express love, how we show love when all of the superficial things are gone and burned away, that is what is going to be passed on. Those are the gifts that are going to go into the future generations. And I don't know how this mystery works, but it does. And those are the gifts that are not of our choosing. They are simply a reflection of who you are and what you have come to mean to those around you, and really, more significantly, what you mean to the future generations ahead. Thank you.
Dick, thank you very, very much. Very well spoken. Just nailed it. Well, thank you all for being here today. Let's go next door and check out the new floor, have some coffee. There's donuts and cookies, and somebody made some bread, like, I don't know, nut bread, or I haven't tried it, but it looks good. Let's sing about our world, this wonderful world that we live in, that's gone through evolution and evolution and evolution. And we're part of that. Thanks again, Dick. Stand and sing, "What a Wonderful World."